up, guys? Coming at you live from Idaho Falls, Idaho for this week's Perspective, where we tell your stories and we highlight top performers. As you can see this week, we got McCray here. McCray has been one of the pioneers of Radix. So he's obviously my brother, but he was one of the very first guys that committed to move from home base out to start a market. And he's been in Arizona for the last 3.5 years. And has really helped build that market to what it is today. So McCray, welcome.
Happy to be here.
Okay, guys, a couple housekeeping items to get things started here. First and foremost, wanted to talk about the Become Training program again. Wanted to highlight and in conjunction with the curve. So we have 17 individuals that have 4 assists this month. So these individuals that I'm going to list here have qualified for part of the curve training. So they have hit the production requirements. And so if you hear your name, congrats, you're already at 4 accounts. We have Fred Brantley, Brian Harmon, Aaron Pico, Lucas Pope, Caleb Staple, Bree Nelson, Tegan Lowry, Dallin Thompson, Andrew Rusnak, Brandon Bialis, I think you say it, Isaac Blake, Taylor Rushing, Zach Bagshaw, James Wadman, Karen Meisner, Chris Carlisle, and Braden Watkins. So those 17 individuals already have 4 assists, and there's lots of you that are right at 2 and 3 and only need a couple more to be able to qualify for the production side of the curve incentive that will earn you the Bad Birdie Polo and the Sick Hat. However, there's a big piece that we're missing. So at the end of the talent card section in the Become Training platform, there's a couple pass-offs that you have to do to be able to fully complete it. You have to do a pitch pass-off and an objections challenge. So I wanted to highlight these 6 individuals that have submitted those to the becometraining@radixsales.com email. So we have Zach Ingstrom, Eli Averett, John Stout, Isidro Silva, Dallin Thompson, and Cole Hayward. So if your name is on the first list but not on the second, you will not be getting any of the curve gear unless you do both. So we want to make sure that you all get it. Let's just really make sure that everybody before May is up gets their pitch pass off and their objection challenge fully submitted. So next up, we have Dave and Brandon were in Riverside and San Diego this last week on the Red Shoe Tour. Myself and Dave and a couple others from corporate are going to be heading down to Arizona next week. We'll be there on Monday. It's going to be an awesome event. We're actually going to do a big combined Red Shoe event at the warehouse. So we should have like 80 to 100 guys that are down there. So that'll be fun. 2 last quick things. Maloof donations are open. So as we're going around talking through the Red Shoe Tour, we talk a lot about our partnership with Maloof. There's 4 times a year that we're able to donate to that cause. There's obviously gear associated with each donation. You can donate $300 or $500 to earn a piece of gear. But for some of you, if that's not doable and you want to donate $5 or $10, every dollar counts and it's matched by the company. So donations are open this week.
Let me chime in there for just a sec. I've always donated to that. We just had a couple of reps that I know about that actually don't make a ton. They're fairly new to solar and they've donated to the Maloof, and it just makes me happy to see people that aren't making a lot of money that are still actually sacrificing and kind of see the importance of it. So it just makes me proud.
I think that's important to know. I think it'd be really cool if every office had some sort of donation goal. I know as a business, every year as we've set donation goals and we've hit those, without fail, the universe has delivered our sales performance goal. And so I think it's important to give until it hurts a little bit. So thanks for sharing. Last little housekeeping item. Guys, we're going to keep shouting this from the rooftops, but we are freaking winning. There's some headwinds in solar right now with dealer fees being up, with the economy where it's at. There's definitely a few headwinds. That doesn't change anything about the direction of solar. Solar and renewable energy still has an amazing path. There's this little bump in the road that we're going to be navigating, but the reality is we're navigating it so well. We're growing through a difficult time, and a lot of our competitors are actually shrinking. Like there's companies that are normally really loud on social media that are really quiet right now, you know? And so I think it's important that everybody that listens to this, that we continue to shout our winning story from the rooftops, because what it will do for us down the road, the opportunities that it will present, I think will be pretty incredible. So that being said, McCray, what do you think about we jump into some of the highlights for performance?
Let's do it. So for the lead rep side of things, we had our top performer was for James Wadman. Congrats to him. And then we had a bunch of threes. So Tate Moser, Brian Harmon, Bridger Bumgardner, and Karen Meisner, each with 3. So congrats to you guys.
Jumping into the closer side of things. Leading the pack, we had Derek Marlowe out in Bakersfield with Team Invictus, absolutely crushing it. He had 7 this week. We have Matt Jackson. Man, you're going to see that name really frequently. That he continues to perform. He did 6 last week. We had Blake Harrelson with 6, and then we had Braxton Bellison with 6. I love seeing Braxton's name back on the top of the scoreboard. And then rounding out our closers, we actually had a tie. We had 4 guys that had 5 accounts. We had Briggs Bogle, Jacob Shreve, Trevin Facer, and Luke Murdoch, each with 5 accounts.
Top teams, we have Team Messer, Facer, and Bogle with 20 accounts, which is massive. Judy B. Gonzalez, 18. Team Lux, Paulo and Blake Decker in Arizona with 12 accounts. Team Invictus, Marlo with 10. And Omega, Hansen, and Nelson with 9 accounts.
I love seeing that top the top teams get more competitive every week. I love that we're seeing some new teams up there. We're starting to see some of these Cali teams pop off. They're starting to figure out this whole NEM3 battery thing. So some of the Arizona teams that have been on top, watch out. These Cali boys are coming to play. So that being said, wanted to hop in and highlight and throw out 3 highlights. The first group that I wanted to highlight was Team Mesor. So we have Trevin Facer and Briggs Bogle. These guys have a ton of firepower in their office, and in my opinion, these 2 have the hardest task of management at hand. They have 30 rookies out there. So if you go think through that, if you're a new manager and you have a ton of rookies on your plate, you've got to go get a lot of guys through the learning curve. And I think now that they're up at 20, I think that's going to become a pretty consistent number for them now that they're getting guys up and rolling. So wanted to highlight Trevin and Briggs and just the incredible amount of work that it takes to go get that many people producing. It's great. Wanted to highlight also Team Elite, another team that you're seeing at the top of the leaderboards, Junior Gonzalez and KG. These guys also have been putting in a ton of work. I'm really impressed with the culture that these guys are creating. They've started something called the Golden Morning, where they're having to do something physical. They're having to work on their craft, and in their group chat every morning, everybody's posting. It's like 6, 7, 8 a.m. and everybody's posting that they're out working out, that they're working on their craft. And so I love that they've made that a part of their culture, because it just means that everybody's progressing, even if they're not working. Even if the job's not working for them right now, it just means that they're like moving forward and developing really good habits. So wanted to highlight those guys.
That's cool. Most of us aren't even up at 6 a.m., so that's great.
Okay, so last person I wanted to highlight, Karen Meisner. I wanted to tell her story a little bit because I just thought it was really cool. So Karen's family's from South Africa. She was the CFO at a previous solar company, and she wanted to move into sales. And they wouldn't allow her to move into sales, and so she was reached out to by so she's on the New Mexico team, and she was reached out to by their LDN Zach, and she started working with that group out in New Mexico, and she's dominating. So she had 3 accounts last week. When I was talking with Luke Murdoch out there about what things he valued in the way that she was working and what she was doing differently, he said that Karen's extremely adaptable. Those 3 accounts, what was most impressive about those 3 accounts was that it came from a neighborhood that was pretty high income. And out there, the reps had been thinking, like, if you're going to sell, you've got to be working in maybe some middle to lower income neighborhoods. And said that no matter what neighborhood they put her in, like, she's adaptable, she figures it out. And I think that's an important trait to go from a guy that's selling 1 a week to 2 a week to 3 a week is just being really adaptable in the neighborhoods that you get placed in. So I thought that was really cool.
We need 100 of you, Karen.
100 Karens.
100 Karens.
Okay. Last thing, quick announcement here. I think McCray said that if we do 150 this week, that he'll come back and film a podcast in July. But he'll do it in his underwear. So let's go make McCray hit 150 and film one of these things in his underwear.
200 naked.
To wrap up the perspective, McCray has a quick little leadership thought for us that he's prepared. So McCray, you're up.
I'll be quick. The leadership thought actually comes from Dave. Heard it from quite a few times, but it's just the 3 R's: the rock, the rabbit, and the reckless. Each of these play a pretty significant part in your office. The rock is the consistent guy. He's out there Monday through Friday, hot or cold. He's out there doing it. The rabbit, he's the guy that everyone wants to chase. He's lifting lids. He's the rabbit. And last one is the reckless. He's the guy that brings the culture, the music, the loud guy. And so wrap it up. Each of your office needs to have those, and so figure out if you guys have them. If you don't, figure out what role that you play, and go pick one and go fulfill the role.
That's awesome. Thanks, dude. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was good. Guys, let's go have a great week. 150 accounts is the goal this week. We did 133 last week. We can absolutely do it. The thing I'm most excited about where we sit is we're watching our base level without some of the blitzes that are happening year round. We're watching that base number rise every week. So we can absolutely crush 150, end the month over 500 accounts. Again, we're absolutely winning. Let's make sure that we're telling that story. We'll see you guys next week.